Hey everybody, Eric here. So here's a knife. It's not a new knife of mine. I've had this maybe for a couple of years, but I've used it very rarely. It's the Spyderco Endura 4. This is my first Spyderco. And what made me decide to buy this one? So I didn't want a real small knife. I didn't want to spend a whole lot on a Spyderco, and the off chance that I didn't, care much for it. And green is my favorite color. So the Endura 4 kind of fit the bill. It's not a very small knife. It's got a good, length blade on it. It's about 3 3/4 inch blade. It's in, let's see, VG10. It's made in Japan. Anyway, so I like the knife, but it's definitely not one of my favorites. So why is that? Well, for starters, I'm not a big fan of this locking mechanism. I'm not a big fan of it. And the action is pretty stiff on this knife. And I've loosened the pivot and I've taken the thing apart and applied some knife pivot lube in there, and it's still just not where I want it to be. I can do the little, finger flick, the little Spidey flick thing on it, but it's still really stiff. So it could probably be broken in a little bit more, but I mean, it's just not my favorite knife. I've carried it a little bit and I've used it maybe a couple of times to shave down some bark off of a piece of wood for my dog, but other than that, I've really not used it much. But I'll keep it. I do like the way it looks, and it's my first Spyderco, so I guess there is that part of it that I need to preserve. My first Spyderco knife, but it fits good in the hand. I've got pretty large hands. So there is definitely plenty of handle to grab a hold of. And it's comfortable. It's comfortable in the hand. The jimping is nice on it. The length of the blade is nice. But, the action and the lockup mechanism, I'm not a big fan of. The blade centering's, I don't know, let's see, it's pretty good. I've taken this thing apart, and I'll tell you that spring tensioner in there it's a pain in the ass. But anyway, I got it back together. It works fine, but as I've said a couple of times, it's not my favorite for sure. But anyway, I did want to do a little video on it and to give you some specs. It's supposed to be 5 inches approximately closed, 8 3/4 inches overall length when it's opened. Blade thickness is supposed to be 0.125 or 3 millimeters. It has the tip up, tip down, left, right carry. So it is versatile as far as your carrying style, whether you're a lefty or a righty, tip up, tip down, whatever. Made in Japan. Nothing special, not a high-end knife. I think I paid about, I don't know, it's like $125, something like that for this thing. If that. It may have even been a little cheaper than that, but I think I ordered it off of Amazon about 2.5 years ago. But like the color. Only complaints are the locking mechanism and the action on it. Outside of that, it's a perfectly fine knife. Anyway, that's it, folks. Just a quick little video today, just to kind of go over my first Spyderco. I'll tell you what, before I wrap it up, let's do a little comparison here. That's my Endura 4. This is my PM2 that I customize. I've done a video on this knife here, I think. And I've definitely brought it in screen before as some comparisons to other knives, but this is one that put the titanium scales on and anodized myself, and did the lanyard and the bead, and of course the lanyard tube and these little spacers here. This is a cool little knife. Like the action on this much better. It's made in America. It's CPM S30V, of course. I mean, if you are into knives at all, you know what a Paramilitary 2 is from Spyderco. But yeah, do love this knife quite a bit. But anyway, that's it, folks. As always, thanks for watching.